Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today is going to be one of those really great shows. Today we're going to talk about um, an awakening. Let's call it what it is. It's an awakening. Imagine yourself being taught something, and for years you adapted or adopted this belief system. You embraced it. You thought it was the end all beat all, and you structured your life around this to later find out that there was a lot of discrepancies about it. Clarity wasn't there. And you become your own navigational tool. Today, we have a comedian, a rising comedian out of Gilbert, Arizona, who actually is going to share with us his journey of transformation. Let's call it what it is. He said something that was really funny during the pre-interview. He said, "I'd rather be happy and poor if I have to die." That was deep. That was real deep. I'd like to welcome to the show, all the way from Arizona, Mr. Comedian himself, Mr. Comedy himself, Tom Patterson. Welcome to the show, big guy. How you doing?
Thank you, Andre. I'm excited to be here. Happy to be here. Doing good, man.
You know, when we was talking on the pre-interview, it's funny, your name is the same name as the underwear designer, Tommy John. And I was like, dude, we was preparing for the underwear guy, but we got even something better. We got the actual Mr. Comedian himself on the stage. Tell the viewers a little bit about you before we get into the story of your transformation.
I did do some underwear shoots for Tommy John. I'm just kidding. Tell you about myself before transformation.
Yeah, tell because you grew up in, you said you're literally around the corner from where you grew up in Gilbert, Arizona. But take the viewers down a little bit of your growing up. What was it like growing up where you at before you even got into the spiritual awakening and the comedy? What was life like for you?
It's good life down here. It's still when people played outside. I go outside. I play basketball. I play baseball. We grew up making short films. Um, Me and like four or five of my buddies. It's fun, man. In my neighborhood, had three of my closest friends I still talk to today, and more of them. And yeah, it's good times, mischief. Um, to get back to the question, though, most of those friends are all Mormon. Most of these people in Arizona are Mormons. Um, so up in that, I don't know how it changed the subject, but I don't know. It's like we're living in a little bubble. That's what it felt like.
What is the Mormon faith like? Educate me a little bit because I studied a little bit of different religions. I know a little bit about what I think about Mormons, but you lived a lifestyle. What was that like for you?
Church every Sunday. During the week, you go to church. Um, we read scriptures every day. You got family night on Monday night. You spend all day home on Sunday. If you're a good Mormon, no TV, no basketball or nothing. Um, it could be fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun times, like Boy Scouts. I didn't get touched, but we went. We went on fun trips, man. I can't say. many other people did what we did. We we had like 30 kids in our Boy Scout troop, and we all rented out a boat and went scuba diving, got our certificates for a week. We built our own rafts and went down the Colorado River for a week and just pulled up to the side and camped out, then go rafting again.
Man, that sounds
Almost
fun.
died. Yeah, almost died a couple times.
How'd you
Me and
almost
my
die?
buddies,
Wait a minute. How'd you almost die? Did the raft leak?
this is actually pretty crazy. So a group of our buddies, we all tied our rafts together and we're just flowing down the river, talking and messing around. And then all of a sudden we hear like rapids. We look up 50 feet in front of us is like a 7 foot waterfall.
Wow.
And we're like, oh shit. We try to get out of the way and it just sucked us right over. None of us were wearing life vests. We were on like lawn chairs on a rafts with like coolers. And we just flipped over. I got sucked under the water for like 30 seconds or more, dragging against the river. When I came up, it was like a movie scene, man. I was like, there's people just in the water, heads popping up, all of our
Wow.
stuff floating.
You
And
guys
it's
were
pretty
lucky
funny.
it wasn't rocks at the end of the fall.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, nothing more crazy, but I did get banged up on the bottom. Um, yeah, that was wild, man. We took a biking trip to Moab, got separated from our group, ran out of water, got lost. That wasn't just
When did the shift change for you?
that.
Like, it sounded like being a Mormon
Um,
had some great times, but
sure.
did you ever feel, I know you mentioned the whitewater rapids and your friends and the close-knit community, but did you ever feel even as a teenager growing up that there was too much uh confinement to rules and regulations, that did you guys even question this?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I hated it the whole time. Um, the big thing that threw me off, and it's not even just Mormonism, it's Christianity, I think, is um, why did God have to send Jesus down to die for us? Like, why did Jesus have to die for us? Yeah, we have sins and all that, but why is death the answer? You know, that's just a really, I don't know, it seems too messed up.
Did you have questions, you and your friends growing up, that you went to the congregation or whoever was in charge, and did you share these questions or thoughts that you
Oh
guys
yeah,
had?
yeah. Yeah, I did it. And I shared it all the time and try to get people to find answers for me. And no one, I got plenty more questions and no one has answers.
They
And
tell
so
you the
that's when I'm
reason why
like,
they couldn't answer the
nobody
question?
knows.
That's the
Yeah,
reason that they told you?
nobody. Wait, what'd you say?
I said, what was the clarification that the pastors gave to you?
They said we don't know. That we'll find that out when we die. Or there's like another term or a phrase that's used, but basically we don't know.
Your parents were brought up in this religion sector as well, correct?
My mom's a convert, joined the church when she was 20 something. My dad grew up Uh, they grew up Mormon, but they didn't go to church. He like started drinking when he was young and stuff, but uh, he started to go to church when he was like 17 or 18 and hasn't stopped.
How do you
They're pretty damn religious. You can't get much more.
So when did the awakening happen to you? You mentioned something about paralyzation. Share with the viewers a little bit about
Uh,
the transformation on that part.
yeah, so I stopped going to church when I was like 14, shortly after those trips. And then did a whole bunch of drugs, got really into drug. This is my cat Luna. Then I don't know. I got into coke, um, and obviously that's not the best drug, and so that kind of scared me because I like that more than drinking and smoking.
Mhm.
And one night, hanging out with my buddies, I just wasn't having fun anymore. I went home. I was like, all right, that's probably it. And then that night, I went to bed, and during the dream, it was like a demon was chasing after me, and you get like frozen up where you can't move. It's called sleep paralysis. But at the time, I thought a demon was trying to possess me.
Did you
So
did you
I,
know who he was?
no, dude, he looked like a Catholic priest, robes, like hat on his head, looked all fancy. And yeah, that scared me to death. So I woke up and I was like, that's a message from God, no more. So I stopped. And from then on, really, I was searching like really deep, like meant my prayers. Um, and I feel like I still have that connection today. Like I said, I feel like I'm on the right path. I'm doing what I should have been doing, just not what was taught to me, or nobody encouraged entertainment. Everybody I talk to is like, yeah, but what's plan B?
Right.
What's going to be your real job? So,
When you got this awakening and he's this so-called um demon that appeared to you during this sleep paralyzation, how difficult was it for you to just quit? Because I don't know nothing about addiction when it comes to drugs, alcohol, or whatever, but was it that easy for you just to give it up and basically transform your life overnight?
uh, it was still super hard. I tried lots of times before, um, but I think that gave me the motivation to really do it. But yeah, I struggled for it for probably 2 months solid. Cigarettes. Anytime I see a person smoking a cigarette, I'd be like, I want one. But yeah, it took me a while. It was hard. I was a good little Mormon boy trying to.
Did you confide in anyone what had just happened to you? Because and did
Oh
you have
yeah,
other
yeah.
buddies that were addicted, and did you share it with them? And they was probably like, did they say, "Hey, man, you tripping"?
Yeah, there was a few of them. One of them actually told me about sleep paralysis, and that fucked me up. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm doing this for nothing." And that's when the hard questioning went in. Yeah, but I figured, it's good to not do a bunch of drugs, so I stuck on that. But
What
now I
was the
smoke
hard
weed,
question?
and
Tom, what was the hard questions that you had? What were some of the hard questions that you, after you came out of this paralyzation, after you started to go down that rabbit hole, let's call it the rabbit hole, were there resentments on what you was taught versus what you was now encountering?
I felt like I wasted the first 25 years of my life. So yeah, I got a lot of resentment, and um, I can't say I'm angry anymore, but yeah, there's part of that. Um, but yeah, so the questions I could think of is that first one, why did Jesus have to die? And then the second one, so Mormon Church, I think this was a question I didn't answer. The difference between Mormon Church and Christian, like we believe in Jesus, but the Mormon Church believes that the 12 apostles and all of them, Peter, John, Matthew, they
Mhm.
set up a church. With them, that church died. And they believe that Joseph Smith restored the church as a prophet in a new generation. That's how they get it.
Mm.
But when you look at Joseph Smith, this is just my own opinion. It's probably not factual, but he grew up in a time when shrooms and mushrooms and weed were abundant, alcohol. I think he just went to the forest and tripped, and thought he saw God.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
How did you
and
come
then
up with
my
that? How did you
second,
come up with that, Tom? Like seriously. Like how did you come up with that analysis?
well, I'm thinking that's what they did in the Old Testament times, man. Like the burning bush, that's supposed to be like a hallucinogenic bush, um, and I think that's how they saw their visions. I feel like I had visions myself, being high on shrooms or acid,
Right.
and acid is actually the one of the key components that led me towards comedy. That
How's
really
that?
changed my mind.
How's that?
Stayed up all night at the park looking at the stars, and the stars just kind of lined up, and my head was just like, "Bing. You love comedy. You're kind of funny. Why don't you just try that?" It's something
Are
I
you
always
funny?
wanted to do.
Are you funny? Were you funny then?
But possibly, I remember people laughing around me.
Were you tripping? Were you tripping? And they would laugh.
Oh, I'd say I'm probably the funniest when I'm tripping.
Wow. When did you
Should
take
have been tripping right now. Just kidding.
when did you take the leap into comedy? When did you decide, okay, I'm gonna do this? You didn't walk away from the religion. You really had a whole different spiritual awakening. But how did you combine your new awakening, your new journey with comedy?
So I decided to try comedy in 2017. I was married at the time, and then I was doing it for a few months, loving it. Started My wife wanted to divorce me, so I kept going for a little bit. Then I was like, I just need to go back to my real job, focus on, trying to make this work. And then I got divorced, and now I'm back.
Wow. Now you s- you've been doing comedy now for 2 years. What has
That's
been
right.
the struggles? Because we hear a lot of people that get into this field, and there's some bumpy roads that they have to overcome. What's been some of the trials that you had to go through outside of the spiritual reevaluation part of your life?
Well, the comedy scene's pretty hard in general. Um, it's very clicky, and then doing comedy is hard. Um, you got to find a good joke, and then you got to work it out for months. Open mic, open mic, and kick out a lot of jokes that don't get hits every time.
Mhm.
The ones that do get hits, you add to them, you cut them off, or you drop a line or something. Um, the hardest thing, I'd say that, and it's always been that for me, is just kind of fitting in and finding my group, which I feel like I finally have.
Mhm.
I feel like the comedy scene's like my second family. I love this scene. It's great.
What kind of relief
Um,
do you get when you do comedy? Because you clearly said you
what encounters?
like, that seems to be your passion now. You said that you went out, you looked at the stars, and all of a sudden, the antennas go off and stuff. Are you really happy doing the comedy? Is this your purpose now?
Hell yeah, yeah. Super happy. There's nothing funner. And hanging out before you go up, going up is the best. And then hanging out after you go up, I mean, that's a job. If I could make a living doing that, that'd be awesome.
You mentioned
Um,
you mentioned that part
I
about happy and poor. Explain that a little bit.
exactly. I have like half the stress that I was dealing with before at the shop. I was managing, I was doing sales, I was rebuilding injectors, dealing with customers, warranty issues. A lot of it was just improper installment or something like that.
Mhm.
And then just too much stress. And now I got half that stress, and I'm doing everything I love to do. Uh, I do Uber Eats for work, which sucks, but I mean, that's easy. That's A to B all day.
How much time do you put into a new craft that you've only been exposed to for 2 years and you're still trying to find your connection to the spiritual realm? Because let's get real, you grew up Mormon. I mean, is there moments that you have you found that spiritual connection like you found your calling for comedy?
Yeah, I don't have too many spiritual jokes. Um, I had one that I wrote down. I haven't even tried because I don't know if I want to get into it. I just like being silly and stuff like that. Um, what was the rest of that question?
I was asking like, what is your journey now? What is your outlook on the spiritual
Oh
transformation
yeah, yeah.
that you encountered? Because you've been a
Let's-
Mormon pretty much all your life, and to just well, not walk away, but to actually embrace something new has to be totally different for you. Because you're talking about Arizona where half the population is Mormon, and all of a sudden you're walking away from something that's been undocumented indoctrinated into a society, and you walk away from it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was by myself for a long time. You know, I was getting that marriage work, got divorced, still work my job till I figured this out. Um,
Is this a journey
I
that
just had
you're
to,
walking alone with right now?
that's what I was gonna say. But since I found comedy, I feel like I have a new group of support. You know, a new family. The only person in my family that supports me is my mom, really, my dad, kind of, and then my friend, one of my buddies. But yeah, I feel like it's given me a new purpose. I love comedy. I do it every night. I don't have my daughter. I go out and do comedy. I try to do 2 to 3 open mics. Um, Sometimes, if you're lucky, you could get 4 down here.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I do anywhere from 5 to 10 mics a week, and then I'll go support other people's shows. I've been on a few shows, mostly bar shows, a month. So yeah, it's like my new life. This is all I do.
You mentioned
I'm only at home when I got my daughter.
you mentioned your daughter. Um, what do you tell your daughter who naturally she's probably still exposed to the same type of spiritual lifestyle that you have that you was brought up in. You said you're close to your mom. How do you what do you tell your daughter now? Because she still has to be in that environment that you were in. What do you tell her now?
I tell her she can she's free to believe whatever she wants. She's got to figure it out for herself. She's got plenty of examples of what is out there. Like my parents are still Mormon. My ex and her new family are Christian. Her parents though are heavy Mormon. So I'm like, you get to see all sorts, not really all sorts of different sides 'cause it's just Christian, but
Mhm.
and you get to choose what you want. I told her I'm agnostic. I still pray, but I don't like organized religion. I think something's been lost and corrupt.
You said something to
Um,
in the pre-interview when me and you was talking that I took to real heart, and I needed some clarification on it from your viewpoint. You mentioned you was able to look at people differently. That kind of like shocked me. Was were you guys like isolated basically from other beliefs, other cultures, other nationalities? What do you mean like you are able to
yeah,
look at
you
people
feel like you're basically taught everybody's wrong, but you.
really?
You're the chosen people, kind of like the Jewish people, like the 144,000 or Seventh Day Adventists believed in that too. Um, yeah, so you believe everybody else is wrong. Somehow they messed up. God doesn't like them as much. Um, And so when I started opening my mind up and realizing that these people are just repeating phrases and words down from generation, they're not really seeking it out. They're just feeling like, well, this person was smarter than me, so I can't possibly figure it out. They already did,
Hmm.
but I feel like we're in a smarter generation now than back then, and we got more information. So yeah, and even being a father kind of did it too, because I see everybody as like, a baby boy or a daughter, and not just a person. They got people that love them. They got a wife, they got kids. They were a child at one point, innocent. So
You now have a new
yeah,
family.
I treat people with respect. I try not to be rude, um, unless it's given. And even then I'll try to, avoid it.
You now have a new family, and I'm pretty sure a lot of individuals that were in your life, it had to be somewhat troublesome to see them walk away, or to see you having to walk away from them to basically walk in your own path. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
how does
Well, it
it?
messed them up because I went back to church. I became a missionary, got more married in the temple. So I was like a unsung hero, in the church as far because I was like the prodigal son, went away and came back. So when I went away again, you know, yeah, some people don't talk to me anymore. Some people understand. So
Before we wrap up, um, how can the viewers reach out to you? Because you're definitely trying to launch a new career.
hey,
Our job here is to help that happen. Um, and to know, and to more importantly, help you help others. Like you were saying, you want to resonate a message to the viewers. So this is a two-part question. How can the viewers reach out to you? And then the second part, what is your end game? What is your message to the viewers based on your experience and what you're trying to deliver?
so my end game, first of all, Tom Comedy Patterson, Instagram, Tom Patterson, Facebook. I got some reels up there. I'm doing shows in Arizona if you want to come see me. Um, my end goal, I would love to be a touring comic. That's the goal, really, just state to state, club to club. Um, the other thing I was going to say about what drew me away from the Mormon church is if prophets were talking to God back in the day and they said, "Hey, God just told me this, you know, here you go." Why aren't they doing that now?
Mm,
Hey, Jesus just talked to me yesterday. He came to my room. He said this. It's not happening anymore. Angels aren't coming down, like the Bible days. Um, so just trust your own gut, trust your own conscience. You're smart enough, you could figure it out doing research and studying. And yeah, be happy. Do what you love every day.
thank you so much, Tom, for taking the time to come and share such a beautiful story of enlightenment and coming into your own, walking in your own purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton show.
Oh yeah.